Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on a journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney
And Kelly. Hey, Sydney.
Hey, Mom. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
We finally have some sun. We had several days of
I just love the sun. I do.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been talking about sensory sensitivity and emotions as well. And I had a fireball yesterday.
What?
Well, you know, we're having to have some stuff done to the house.
Yes.
And so they're going to be starting next week. Mm-hmm. And your dad comes upstairs. I was reading and working on stuff, and he said, I'm going to leave town. I've got to leave town Sunday.
And go back on
San
Thursday.
Diego, and then I'm going to Tampa. And
yeah, he gets back like Thursday or something.
I said, really? They start work next week. Why is it that whenever there's stuff... I don't know if it's the piano. It's small things, even like the piano tuning.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody is ever around but me, and it drives me nuts. Ding, ding, ding. I mean, the same note over and over till it's right. And thankfully, people do that, but it drives me nuts to hear it.
Yeah.
And so now they're going to be working. It's right outside of where my little room is, and so I'm thrown out of that for the week. And hearing the banging and the saws and all this stuff. And it was like,
he doesn't have to deal with any of it.
And he was like, yeah. Every time. It just so coincides.
That is so true. And everything. Something breaks when he's gone. Generally, something dramatic happens. Yeah. Like, it is without
anything that's going to blow up, it's going to blow up.
It's going to blow up when he's...
Either right when he's leaving or right after.
Yeah. There was only one time in recent memory for me. I think one of the toilets in the house needed to be fixed, and you happened to be gone and Dad dealt with it. But that is like once in, I don't know, 30 years that.
And I was like, yay. And he was like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, oh, you had to wait around.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, you wouldn't admit it if it was. You know?
That is true.
So, isn't that
you
funny?
felt all...
I did. I was like, I'm going to have to listen to it.
Yes.
All week. And I don't have to sit here at the house either.
No, but
you know, it's just...
And I'll mostly be gone,
it disrupts
usually during
me.
the day.
So, yeah.
Man, that's annoying.
There you have it.
So, speaking of emotions. The body, specifically.
The body and emotions.
Because, the way we feel, it's not just something that's in our head. It is something in our body.
Yes.
For sure. And just on a very unrelated, we're not going to get into this, but I've been reading a lot about that in the sense of, I've been reading The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, good book. We'll send that link.
Yes, we'll send that. And I mean, we're not getting, it's about a little more about like trauma and how it's held in your body, but just emotions in general too. It talks about, it's just their health, your body knows, and how everything is so interconnected is wild and pretty amazing. And so it's like, we treat our emotions, we talk about them on this psychological level, but there is a physiological level to it as well, you know, and how your brain sends signals, and when your brain does it, it's sending it to the body, you know, it's,
I was reading an article, and I'll put the link up, and it was really interesting how scientists have first beginning, is it the brain that sends, is it the body that sends, and just how connected and almost simultaneously.
Yes. Because, you know, when things, fear, and then your body, I mean, our natural response, people talk all the time, and it's true, this fight or flight response. Yes. Well, then your brain's sending signals to your body to be prepared to either run or fight. And that causes, you'll have physiological reactions, you know? And so a big thing that we're going to be referring to is this emotion and how it maps on your body. And so we have it.
Definitely have a link to this.
Yes.
It's called Body Mapping Emotions. And if you type that in.
Oh, you
to
easily
your search
find
engine,
it.
and
Yes.
it will. Images will come up right away.
And I'll put a little picture here on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so these researchers with this study had hundreds of adults, basically.
thousands,
A lot of people fill out basically a survey almost of like, okay, think about anger. Where do you feel that on your body? And people would pinpoint, and they collected and like put all this body of information together, and they found pretty much everybody felt these different emotions or major emotions in the same way, in the same place. And it could include whether you feel sensations in your body or even you feel sensations pull away, like you don't feel anything in your body. So
a simple one is like when you're embarrassed, don't you feel your face get heated? Right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. When you're anxious, a lot of people feel it in your stomach.
In your gut. Right. In your,
Yeah.
up here in your chest area because they have panic attack type of things going on. And it really, and also the opposite, the sadness, how that can
numb you,
your body.
And depression too.
Yeah.
On the map, it shows it like either black or going blue, and that means that sensation is pulling away.
Deactivate, right.
It's being deactivated. Yeah.
And shame, same thing.
Yeah.
Certain parts of your body. It really is fascinating. So you'll have that up there.
Too, some of the interesting ones to me, happiness and love are the two emotions, especially happy, that you literally feel all over.
Your whole body,
Your whole body. And depression is pretty much like, that's the opposite to me of happiness. And your whole body, for a lot of people, goes numb. Like, it's like deactivated, you know?
I wonder if that's why when people walk, it can change how you are.
But
Because your whole body is involved.
Yeah, people say,
if you think about it.
Yeah, exercise, and so then you're moving your body and getting sensations back. And then I think it's anger. People had a lot of activation in their arms. Like that's super
you think
highlighted.
about that because when you get anger, there's confrontation. And I know I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was telling them, like, do you need to box? You know, because I was like,
moving arms like
the blood flow increases to our hands.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking confrontation, making them hot and primed for action.
Yeah.
Your heart rate and blood pressure rise. Tension in our jaws. You probably feel that, you know. I think it's funny because when you're watching a movie or something, every time somebody gets tense, the camera's focusing on their jaws.
Yes.
You can see them clenching.
That
and
is
it's like,
true.
okay, that's acting.
Yes.
You know, but anyway, so it does.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of like some of my major emotions and like anxiety for me. Yeah. I get the chest. I feel in my gut. If I'm feeling happy, I can, like, you try and think, it's hard, like, to just think about it.
But when you are at joy, one of those positive, we call it positive emotion, has powerful physical effects, right? You sense, there's a sense of lightness. There's an airiness to you. There's a ease of, I don't know, for me, when I don't want to sit around still when I'm feeling all that great joy. Expansion in the chest, they talk about.
Definitely.
Desire to move. And sadness, when we're sad, our bodies feel heavy and sluggish.
Oh, yeah.
With it, you know. Definitely. Many experience tightness and aching in their chest sometimes.
Yes.
So, or, when you're heartbroken, you feel it in your chest area, right? I mean, it's crazy. But our bodies are so connected.
Yes.
And to me, what I like is if I can be aware of that. Oh, Kelly, your fists are kind of tight.
Yeah.
You're clenched. What's going on?
What's going on?
Your jaw. Have you ever woken up at night and have your jaw clenched?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
I have, and I consciously have to do that. I know that's one of the first things I do in meditation is do not a total body scan, but I'll kind of, how your shoulders feeling? Okay, you need to take some deep breaths and feel them going down. What are your facial muscles doing?
Yeah.
Relax those.
Definitely.
Trying to,
Yeah, and I think, and I know for me, if I'm feeling intense emotions, the body is not the first thing on my mind, And I think, that's an important way that you could regulate yourself. And you talk about emotional regulation, and it's not just like necessarily trying to calm the rushing thoughts in your mind. That does help. But I think then if you give your mind, let me focus on my body, calm that part of myself, and then you can be more clear. They go together.
Right? They really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like when they talk about doing art and coloring, kind of activates one and lets the other part of your brain relax and rest. It's that same thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
That you do that.
Yeah.
It's a body.
It is so.
There's a movement.
One of my personal experiences recently is I went to, she's an occupational therapist, but like kind of what she does to me is just like her own thing. It's like her own. She does
two different ones.
Techniques.
She works a lot with autistic kids and does hands-on physical therapy with that. Occupational therapy. And then she also has an energy practice that she has. Yeah,
and I just like have felt myself being really tense lately. And I was like, I just need to get out. And I know like you and Lauren had done it before as a sensitive. So I'm like, I want to try anything because I think it was affecting my immune system. It was affecting my sleep. It was just like, I need to release some of this. So I went to her and it's like an hour session, and she literally just goes along your body. And she has this gift to just sense where your tension areas are, sense where your body is holding these feelings. Yeah. And the way that she kind of taps on them and helps to signal your body, release this, let it go. And I walked away there and I was like, oh my, I literally felt lighter. It's insane. And she just knows, and I think she's one of those highly sensitive people that we talked about last time, who can just sense where all this stuff is. And I think it's a part that is pretty neglected. Now, it's like you go to a therapy session, and there are several that I think are realizing this mind-body connection, and they want you to focus on that.
Eastern religions have done that for or Eastern.
But I don't think it's always the first.
No,
thought.
It's not the first
so can you comment on like how Eastern, Western, like how religion, spirituality talk about it?
Yeah, I think that the Eastern, I don't know, even religions, but the Eastern way of medicine and stuff is much more natural and looked
holistic.
At that and holistic, and we're finding that now more. There are some med schools that really focus on that.
Yeah, there are.
And there have been studies that show that people who are spiritual or religious, as you might want to say, is the way they deal with their illnesses helps their body relax a little more, and can and matter of fact, when my mom had cancer, she was talking about her doctor was telling her that her experience and what studies show is that older women deal better with the chemo and all that because they don't have stresses that the younger women have.
Oh, like work and children
and all that. They don't have the worries.
Yeah.
So if you can if you can do that and as a younger person release that and have a way to
have some extra space.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I think that is more and more. I really. Yeah. And I've done some workshops and stuff on the energy and things. Yeah. And I just think it's real. We can hold things in our body and I think I've been very aware of that through some of the stuff that I've gone through personally and walked along with others, is I don't want to hold things in. Yeah. Because I know it raises your blood pressure. I know it can cause my muscles will get tighter. I know all these things that it affects my body if I don't have a way to release it. Yeah. And that includes physical release as movement. And meditative release, as in the mind and feeling the energy leave me that I don't want in my body. Right. I don't like to keep anger in my body. It's a good emotion.
It is, yeah.
It signals you need to do things, So listen to that. But what am I going to do with it, and how do I release it? And
I definitely think, in that sense, Eastern like spirituality and stuff, I think has a big leg up on any sort of Western, generally they say religions, spirit, it's just, I think about growing up and they talk about prayer. Of course you pray, but it's like that prayer could be a time for you to release things in your body. It's just not talked about. Whereas like, you read Thich Nhat Hanh books or whatever, and he talks about the body,
yeah,
and how interrelated it is to everything else.
We really haven't so much in the Western.
No. I mean, think about like
religions.
your schooling and stuff. I mean, it probably didn't talk about that in any of your
No,
classes.
and I think what it is, it's more of the. I'm gonna get in trouble here, but when you see the charismatic people, be healed and they slain in the spirit, knocked over. That's not. I mean, I'm not judging that because I haven't experienced that. But there is this mysticism about our being able to release, and what Jeanette does.
Definitely.
And there's and I don't have to understand it all.
Yeah.
But I know that there is an energy, and we all carry energy within us. And it can get stuck in there.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeanette is the occupational therapist. I don't think I said her name earlier.
I'm sorry. I was thinking that too.
But what she does, and there's all of that in there.
But, studies have shown that people who are having people pray for them, intercessory prayer, that called, studies show that patients who receive this intercessory prayer report more positive health outcomes.
Wow.
Shorter recovery times.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Because there's a calming,
that's the mystery of people saying, prayer. And personal prayer, engaging in personal prayer often leads to increased feelings of hope and sensations of connection.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I did a meditation today with a friend, and at the end it was, may I be thankful. And I don't know how that came out of me, but it just, may I be thankful. And then it was like, because if I'm not thankful, then I'm not hopeful. If I don't have something, and I think, and I thought, because that's, in a world of chaos, it can be,
it can be hard to be thankful.
If I can't find something, chances are, no matter what, I can find one thing to be thankful for. And usually a lot more. But just to remember to be thankful.
Yes.
But there, go ahead.
I don't know, go ahead. You go.
There's some practices.
Okay, one sec. Yes, then we'll get to it. So, because I want to get to the practices. I want to make a comment on some people may think like, oh, well, this is how I've dealt with emotions all the time, or this is. You do not have to be stuck in any way. There's literally a concept of neuroplasticity.
Oh, yes.
Your emotions do not have to control you. Your emotions do not. You can stop the process of your emotions wreaking havoc on your body. We are learning things constantly. It used to be believed you go through childhood, after childhood is done, okay, well, that's your brain. That's how it is. That is not true. There are studies, you can look them up, and I'll try and get you one that you can link about neuroplasticity and how you can make new connections all the time. Your brain does that. If your brain, the extreme case is when people have brain trauma, and then the brain will find, if there's like a part of the brain that it can't reach anymore, it will find a way to get that function somewhere else. Like it will find a way to make new connections so that you can still function. Like it is insane. And so you are never stuck in your ways. You can always learn something. Yeah, fine. You can make the claim, well, it'll be harder. Doesn't matter. You can still do it.
Yes, you can. Our brains are amazing. Mine, 91.
Yeah.
Your
Grandpa.
old dad, who has lost his sight. I guarantee his brain is learning some new skills, and it's pretty
learning
incredible.
how to orient himself
because he wants to.
Yes, and that's the key. You do have to want to.
Our brains are truly incredible, and it shows that meditation changes the makeup of your brain. It does. Gray area, whatever. I don't understand
gray matter.
It all, but it is neuroplasticity. Yeah. Our brains are amazing, so there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. Your emotions don't have to control you. Your emotions do not have to wreak havoc on your body.
No,
you can stop that process.
We can learn about those.
Yeah. So what are...
So some of the practices, one is a simple body scan meditation.
I've done that a few times, and we've done it, and you can find some on YouTube where you literally find a place to lay down, or if you want to sit up, you usually can. And it will like talk you through it takes, some long ones can take 15 to 20 minutes, and then others can take, 5 or something.
You can, you can do a simple one, mindful practice that you start at your toes if you want, and just
work your way up.
Your way up. What sensations? Where are the,
do you feel something
tension?
to release?
Where is there? Yeah, just kind of noticing. Where you hold
and
things.
That takes, to me, and that takes a lot of practice. That's something that should be a daily thing that we all do, either when we wake up or go to sleep or something. But that is a habit that it takes practice. And sometimes, because sometimes I'll do them, and I'm like, okay, do I really feel my elbow right now? Can I sit?
Yeah,
it's hard. But it's just amazing how little connection you feel like. Oh, I've got connection to my body.
I'm in my body, but I'm not.
You can be. It's crazy how little connection you can have to different parts of your body, and taking that time to create that connection is important.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so that's one. This is an interesting emotion journaling with body focus. So when you're journaling, if you happen to journal, write about and maybe I'm so pissed off that, oh my gosh, I can feel it in my whatever.
I need to try that. That sounds cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I can feel it in my throat because I can't say what I want to say. I can feel it in my I'm so happy at this. Oh, where do you feel that in your body? Just making a note of it. I thought that was really interesting, right? And you begin to notice your patterns. And then using the body mapping charts. Get online, look at that as a tool to go, this is where I'm feeling. So, and there's an emotion sensation wheel. I'll put that on there too.
Yeah.
Just mindfulness practices, incorporating that into your daily life.
Yeah.
And why do we do this? Because it'll improve your emotional regulation.
Yes.
When you can identify the physical associations with your emotions, you're better equipped to manage them.
Definitely.
And so you want to know that. Just, to me, it's self-growth. It's self-awareness.
Yeah. Because you're becoming more connected to yourself.
And your emotions and recognizing them. And gosh, what am I doing to those around me as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think stress management.
Yes. And I think that like that physical sensations, the physical reactions to emotions, they happen so subconscious, like very unconsciously. And I think a lot of people, like, we could grab control of ourselves quicker if thinking about what's my body doing was more at the top of our list, like emotional race. Like, you can breathe. Let's go one step beyond just breathing. Yeah. Where does your breath need to go?
Yes. And how deep can you go with your breath? Where do you feel it? Put your hand on your stomach when you're doing that.
Like, there's another layer to just
There's
breathing,
a layer, yeah.
And I think if we were to go there more often and quicker, I think we could control a lot more. And not that and I sometimes, because I'm the way I am, confuse controlling my emotions with pushing them away. It's like, if I control my emotions, that means, I'm pushing them down here because they don't need to be here.
No,
that's not it.
Controlling my emotions is finding how I let them out.
Yes, in a constructive way.
Yeah, and not knowing I have them.
Yes.
Not numbing myself
Controlling
to them.
your emotions is giving yourself the time and space to recognize it, without just having this knee-jerk reaction. To me, that's one thing for me, that when it comes to that idea of controlling is not pushing it down and holding it in place, and like being like, you're not going to do anything. Controlling is just giving yourself the time to react in a good way, or in the way that's necessary. Sometimes that is punching a pillow, but at least you didn't punch the wall, you know?
And it's recognizing that first, that you're having that emotion.
Yeah.
Right? And that emotions are good.
Yes. They're always signaling.
This is a signal. So what am I going to do with that signal?
Yeah.
Am I going to ignore it? Run the red light? Because I don't like the signal? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
With that. So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, this whole, with reading the book, The Body Keeps the Score, and then getting into talking about it here, it's just like, I'm like, this is my new thing. I'm on fire for how my body holds stress. And then going to Jeanette recently to get like have that, and the places she could feel like things that happened years ago, you know, and she's like, oh, what happened here? It's like, oh my gosh, just the way she can sense that.
Yeah.
And like one of the very
Pretty
first
incredible.
things I get in there, I lay down and she like feels around my waist and she's like, oh, well, you can't move through anything because like you're not even breathing. I was like, what? I'm breathing? What do you mean? But no, it's like I'm breathing fully. And that was one of the first things she said. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't. And you can't work through anything.
No.
And so it's just that sort of stuff is amazing. And I think it is so overlooked in how we think about our bodies today and our minds.
We do, and I think men do too.
Oh,
I'm not going to categorize, but women, you know, you're so busy, you'll deal with it later.
Yes. Deal with
my body. I'll take care of myself later. And so,
I think it's common for all adults. I do think because life at work, kids, whatever, cooking dinner every freaking night.
You just go do your thing. But
Yes.
but to stop and go, wait, for me to be my best, I have to stop and take care of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what this is all
That's
about.
what, yes, agreed.
It's
That's
taking
what
care
this
of
is.
ourselves and recognizing the worth of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
So, yeah.
So hopefully you'll think a little bit more about how your body is feeling every day.
Yeah.
And you will, I mean, I've noticed a difference even, you know, so you'll notice it. And then next week we will round out our kind of emotions and body. We're going to talk a little bit about how the way your physical body feels and it is, how that can affect your spirituality.
How
they're
tied
connected.
And spirituality can't be separated.
Yes.
Because,
because you
we'll
can't.
deal with that.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
and if you have any comments on, you know, this series of emotions in the body and stuff, we'd love to hear about it. Instagram, email, our website, all the stuff. We're everywhere.
Look forward to next week when you take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.